That's charismatic. It doesn't matter what the relationships are. It's just a build to a tension that ends with, and then they're in some goddamn, I guess every hospital has a million fuck closets.
Lavish.
That no one goes into.
They're wonderful.
So, I think we should do fuck hospital.
I think that's where the joke comes from.
Okay.
I think we found it.
Is the build up.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
So, we also took time to do a Q&A if you guys want to do a Q&A. If you have any questions. No?
No, well, we can't see. There could be 1,000 hands up right now. But there aren't at all.
So, there are 2 mics here, and if you have any questions for us about anything, whether it's PvP and Star Slip related or webcomics,
just whatever.
Or anyone, please.
I don't think we fooled anyone into thinking that there would be a Blamimation. I mean, you want to see any of it? It's just Flash.
Do you guys want to see how we actually... Oh, Kris.
No, we have people lined up.
That's fine.
Yeah, we can do that while questions are asked.
All right. Yes, sir.
Okay, so where did like the whole idea to make kind of crappy Flash animations come from?
Not that they're like good ass, but...
So, when Kris and I first started hanging out and being friends, we really wanted to collaborate on stuff, and he had made a couple Flash animations just sticking around himself and having
Deep King was one of them.
Deep King was one of them. But even before Deep King, what happened was Blind Ferret Entertainment did Control Delete the series, and we thought it was awful. Because Tim was just mailing in scripts that were just crap.
That wasn't even jokes.
No, it was just
like,
pandering.
let's talk about a video game here.
And so I said we should totally make fun of those. But first I said let's just do a radio. We thought of a podcast, it was just a radio thing.
Like a PvP radio drama.
A PvP radio drama. And then I said, well, can't you just do simple Flash stuff with it? And he goes, well, it's kind of a pain. And I'm like, well, I'll just do drawings. You just line them up in keyframes, so there's little pictures accompanying it. And then we did the first PvP Alive that was Brent and Skull talking about going to sleep. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And it was just us dicking around to test it, to see if it would work. So we didn't care if the audio was polished. But we put it up and everybody loved it. It was like, we love that you guys are laughing during it. And that we think that's funny. And so then we did 2 or 3 more of those.
Right.
Like the best one was really making fun of Buckley, where it was, can't wait to play more video games on my video game system.
Right.
And then you went, I want some more coffee.
Call of Duty, Star Wars, Battlefront, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then Cole comes in and goes, hey, you do video games, remember my video games. Video games! So we did those for a while, and then Blind Ferret approached us about doing an animated PvP, and we were like, maybe we could really do it for real and like do it better than Tim did Control Delete. But those were shit too, like ours were shit as well.
Yeah.
And then Q came and said, we're doing this PATV thing, we want you to do the Blamimations on PATV. And immediately Kris and I were like, how can we make these polished and make them really good? And Robert's like, no, like they were before. Like you two dicking around, the laughs are in, it's animated horribly. That's what's funny, is you guys having fun.
Yeah,
that's
the first one was the aesthetic, remember? It was like, what is this supposed to look like? And then you did Get Sharp.
Yeah.
In just black and white. And
we
then
were like,
I did Night Driver, in color. And it was like, I don't know if we can do these two together.
So then I went back and kind of colored Get Sharp.
But now I think...
But that's how it started.
Yeah, but now I
so
think
it was all spite?
It all came from spite for Tim Buckley, yeah.
That's awesome.
Where all good things come from.
It's cold and dead inside.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Because he is an art criminal.
Yes. Hi. This is a question more towards like everything you guys do.
Okay.
And bear with me for a second, but I actually had like a dream like 3 weeks ago that I was at this panel and I asked a question, and in the dream I never got the answer, and that's not creepy at all. But when I woke up, I really thought, damn, I really wanted to know the answer to that question. So here I am.
So here it is. Now you're going to ask us for real the question.
I'm going to ask.
Dream us.
Yes. And again, this is not creepy.
Okay.
Was there anything like an idea or a style change within your strip or any of your projects where you wanted to make a change or add something, and by that time you thought it was creepy? Well, I was sleeping at the time. I'm sorry if it puts you to sleep, but no, But did you ever want to do something, but by the time you thought of it, you know what, it's too late, I'm too entrenched in what I'm doing now?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, especially for me.
Chris and I talk all the time, and PvP has been around for 12 years now, and so this is going to be maybe inside baseball, but PvP has some revenue streams that I like to call passive income, which is the money just happens, and that's not to say that there's not a million things going on making it happen. For example, let's say, I have 2 sales guys. They are out getting ads for my website. Now, there's a lot going on there. I'm not doing it. I'm just making my comic strip every day, and they can monetize it. So for me, that's passive income. I don't have to. The amount of money I make is not equal to the amount of work I'm putting into it, right? Like if you want to make a comic book, that's not passive income because you have to sit and do the work and then you can sell it. So there's time invested. But passive income is like, a really good example of passive income is Google AdSense, right? You put Google Ads on your website and it fills up the ads that your sales team doesn't fill. And you just sit back and at the end of the month you earn money or you didn't. But you didn't have to put work in to earn that money. You don't have to go and work an hour to earn an hour's work. I have more...
It's pretty great.
Pretty awesome.
I just did that right now. Looks good.
That is flash at work.
Except it's not centered. But it's a work in progress.
But Kris is still establishing those passive income streams. For him, it's still like, if I want to make more money or if I want to make more money this month, I have to put time in. So when we are like, maybe we should do a podcast about, all the chicks we never got to bang. And then we think it's a really great idea and we laugh about it and we're talking over beers or something. But it's going to be a lot of time and we don't know how to make time for it. Because that's going to take away from him doing stuff that's going to earn him money. It's just kind of a weird thing when you're in this world of freelance artistry. You have to worry about where your money's coming from. And so there's a lot of stuff we can't do because of time constraints. So there you go. There's your dream question answer.
Thank you. My life is fulfilled. I love Webcomics Weekly. Hope to hear new things. And Ted Roll sucks.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Actually, before we get to that question, I had a dream last night about this panel.
Okay.
I had a dream that guy would ask that question. No, I had a dream that...
I had a dream that you would say that.
I had...
And then Mike and Jerry descend.
PAX was reality. It's over now.
This was for you.
No, my dream was that you were leaving your panel, and these guys come up to you and they go, "Booyah, gotcha!" And you're like, "What is this?" And you're like, and they said, "You're on the It's a Trap podcast. You critical fumbled." And I was like, "What does that mean?" And so the device of the podcast was this: catch people on the con floor and tell them, "Oh, you failed your check. So now you're on our podcast for the next hour." and always the answer was, "No, I'm going to sleep. Like I have things to do. I'm not going to be on your show right now." And
so you never get the podcast.
Oh, okay. All right. Well.
never gets.
It doesn't work.
So the podcast every day is just the 2 or 3 minutes of people going, "No, I'm leaving. This is ridiculous."
Right. And they're just like, "Oh, all right."
And then they just go. So anyway, that was Christopher Straub.
Yeah, nobody will honor that. Like, but you failed the role.
We should do that today. Excuse me, are you Christopher Straub?
Yeah.
Bam! Oh, you failed your critical saving throw against being on my podcast. Welcome to the It's a Trap podcast.
No, I'm gonna have dinner. I'm sorry, I can't do this right now.
That's why you're so funny, Kris. Anyway,
okay, anyway, now your question.
Hi guys, how's it going?
It's going well.
Great.
You often talk about how close you guys are. How did you meet? How did the relationship get started?
Oh yeah,
that is a great question. That's an awesome
isn't it?
I started posting in an old incarnation of his forums in like 2002, I think.
Yeah, this is back when PvP had like an active forums, and Kris was this guy in my forums. I didn't know that he was doing webcomics or anything. He was just this guy.
I guess I was.
You were doing, yeah.
Yeah.
But Kris was this guy that in my forums, he would say these amazingly funny things. They would kill me because
Because it's me, because I'm great.
My forums were very volatile towards me, and they would just find any reason to be pissed at me. And Kris made this one post one time. This is when I decided that I wanted to be his friend. Kris made this post that said, "One time I saw Scott Kurtz in the hallway and he was getting a drink of water. That fucking bastard."